The FBI never looked at the Democratic National Committee's hacked computer servers and yet still accuses Russia of being behind the attack. That's according to an article published online by BuzzFeed News. The DNC's Deputy Communications Director, Eric Walker, reportedly told the online publication that while they met with representatives from the FBI on a number of occasions, the intelligence agency never requested access to the computer servers, the very centerpiece of the investigation. One U.S. official told the site that no government entity has run independent forensic analysis on the DNC's systems. The FBI instead reportedly chose to rely on information outsourced to a third-party tech company known as CrowdStrike. Well, the most recent report released by the FBI again points the finger at Russia for having hacked the DNC. A White House spokesperson was questioned on Wednesday on the lack of proof presented in this document.
Included in that report were specific technical advice. I think it's an indication that the intelligence community is following more than their gut instinct. And I think the way that you can tell that is based on the technical analysis that was put forward. It doesn't mean that there isn't additional evidence out there. I'm sure that there is. But there is a priority that's placed on protecting sources and methods.
It's such a silly, transparent attempt to deflect attention from the real issues. What we know about the NSA and its systems capabilities is that if it was in fact obtained by a Russian government asset, that the NSA would be able to know that very quickly and immediately. It provided absolutely not a shred of evidence that there was in fact a connection between the government of Russia and Julian Assange's outfit right now, who's the one who disseminated those emails.
A new poll conducted in America has shown that inhabitants of major cities are largely disconnected from Americans elsewhere in the country. Caleb Maupin reports.
A new study suggests that people living in urban areas of America, New York, San Francisco, and here in Washington, D.C., live in a kind of bubble that disconnects them from ordinary Americans. We wondered if this also means that they live in a news bubble in which certain information is filtered out. We decided to put our theory to the test here on the streets of Washington, D.C. with a little news quiz of our own. So tell me, true or false, that Russia hacked into a computer system in Vermont and exposed a security breach in the electrical grid? True or false?
I did hear that true. I did hear that was true.
I heard the story. I don't know if it's true, but I did hear the story in the mainstream media.
Gonna go with true on that one. Pretty sure I heard about that in the news.
It's actually false.
All right, I'm gonna go with false on that one.
So who do you think reported that? Was that CNN, Washington Post, or was it a Russian news outlet?
If it's false, I'm gonna go with not CNN or Washington Post. But I don't know why the Russians would want to say that that happened either.
And I believe it was something that came from Donald Trump administration in all his office or something.
I think I heard it somewhere like CNN.
It was actually Washington Post that it turned out to be false. So, the Anglo-American school in Moscow was closed down in retaliation for the new sanctions Obama imposed on Russia. True or false?
Sounds false to me.
False.
I don't think it's true.
Yeah, it would turn out to be false. Now, who reported that one? Washington Post, CNN, or was it Russian news?
I'm going to say CNN.
Washington Post?
CNN?
You're right, it was CNN.
Right. Thank you.
Do you feel like people here in D.C. are in a little bit of a news bubble? Like maybe they only hear like one side of the story?
Definitely, yes, definitely.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The Washington Post, the New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, absolutely. They're the real fake news.
The U.S. often accuses foreign players of trying to misinform the American people. But when news bubbles are popping up in the very cities where American mainstream media is based, perhaps the culprits are a little bit closer to home. Caleb Maupin, RT, Washington, D.C.